If a robber is good at robbing, what's a burglar good at doing? Is it burglaring? We'll find out the answer to that question and every other aspect of the burglary and robbery coverage today. What's up? You're watching Tito Talks, non-life insurance discussions with me, your favorite Tito Miguel, who loves to make non-life insurance discussions easier to understand for both agents and clients. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. So happy to have you guys on board here today for another session with me, wherein we're still talking about, or we're still trying to cover our property insurance series. So we have another coverage here available for you, one that's very, very interesting, the robbery and burglary coverage. Something really, really interesting, because what most people do ignore is that although these two terms are used side by side, robbery and burglary, they do have their fine differences, and we're gonna get into the bottom of that today. And if you like this type of content, please feel free to leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel. You could always use the additional subscribers to help us share our knowledge of non-life insurance. Plus, please watch this video at the end of the day. I'm pretty sure you're curious. If robbers are good at robbing, what's a burglar good at? Or in other words, what's the verb form of burglary? Since burglary and robbery are nouns, robbery is the act of robbing, burglary is the act of. Pretty interesting, right? Stay until the end of the video so that we'll find out these verb terms. Now, without further ado, let's get into our promised content for today. Now, when it comes to robbery and burglary, these two are used almost synonymously and by mistake interchangeably as well, especially by beginners. Although these two are closely related and they get lumped in with each other most of the time, along with other terms such as theft, as theft, as theft, and larceny. And these terms all revolve around the act of stealing, in short. And when you talk about the term stealing, this means taking something that doesn't belong to you in the first place. Now, you may be wondering, that's a pretty straightforward definition. So what's the difference, and what's so special about robbery and burglary? Why is it important that we have to use these two terms, and it is important for us to be able to distinguish the difference between these two terms as well? Well, don't worry, Tito's got your back about this, and we're going to handle these terms individually. And it is defined as the felonious act. Yep, felonious, which means it's against the law because it's a felony. The felonious act of taking or possessing or claiming possession to any property that is not yours to begin with via, and take note, via the use of force or the threat of force thereof onto the owner of the item. In simpler terms, this means that that robbery is when you attempt to take something from someone and you threaten them in order to get it. And when you say threaten, you've got your usual actions. Pananakot, ibigay mo sa akin yan. Kung hindi, tatamaan ka sa akin. Ibigay mo sa akin yan. Kung hindi, papatayin kita. Alam ko kung saan ka nakatira. Stuff like that. Or this could also happen in banks or in other institutions where money is being kept hidden. Hold up to. Napapalibutan ko na ikaw, mag-isa. Amin na ang pera dyan. Stuff like that. There is awareness and there is a present and intimidating use of force to coerce whoever it is you're threatening to surrender their goods to you, or else face the consequences of whatever threat it is that you're issuing to them. And that basically is robbery in a nutshell. Burglary, on the other hand, is the same outcome as robbery. Pagnanakaw pa rin ang burglary. However, burglary, on the other hand, is the felonious act of taking what's not yours without the use of force or without threats of force thereof. This time, here's where people known as cat burglars come into play. These are people that actually steal your belongings without your awareness. In short, nasa lisihan ka po. Inintay na makatulog ka, inintay na pumasok ka sa opisina, inintay na magbakasyon ka at walang tao sa bahay kung saan niloob po ang inyong bahay, your property, and took things that don't belong to them that originally belonged to you. In both cases, robbery and burglary may result in the same outcome. And that outcome is nawalan ng gamit ang may-ari. And with that being said, the circumstances in which this loss is achieved differs. And the main difference between these two, robbery and burglary, is awareness. Aware ka ba na ninanakawan ka? In robbery, you're pretty much aware the whole time kasi tinatakot ka. On the other hand, burglary, you're not aware, you may not even know up until the time that you're already at your property discovering the loss. And while they are used in conjunction with each other most of the time in property insurances, one very interesting thing to note is that robbery is only covered in inland marine cargo insurance. However, burglary is not covered if you're talking about truck cargoes, which is why sometimes it's important that you're able to distinguish the difference between robbery and or burglary. Now don't worry, most insurance policies will already have robbery and burglary bundled together in the robbery and burglary benefit, so you wouldn't have to worry much about that. But as a note of caution, it's always a good idea to make sure that your policy specifically indicates that it covers both robbery and burglary. You don't want to have your claim denied because of a technicality that the term burglary or robbery was not highlighted in your policy. Because when it comes to claims, each interpretations of your policies are taken on a word-per-word basis. If robbery and burglary are there in your policy, then it's covered. Kung robbery lang, robbery lang. Kung burglary lang, burglary lang. So be very, very careful and do inspect your policies and be sure as agents to explain the difference between these two to your customers so that they understand what it is exactly that they are purchasing. As you will note, most first-time policy purchasers may not be fully aware of what they are purchasing in the first place. As agents, it's our responsibility to bridge that knowledge gap between us and our customers. And as an added challenge, it's also our duty as agents to make sure that we don't explain it using highfalutin terms, very technical jargons. We gotta keep it real simple for our customers. Think you're up to the challenge? And of course, finally, I'm pretty sure you're curious about this one. Our question at the beginning of our video. If robbers are good at robbing, what are burglars good at? So we're still talking about robbery and burglary. And our word for the day is the answer to that question. And you'll be very surprised to know that robbery is equal. If robbery is to robbing, burglary is to burglaring? Burgling? Burglarization? Very funny choices, but the technical verb form of the word burglary is the word burglarize. I'm not kidding. Take a look at the dictionary. Burglarize is a verb which means exactly the act of taking something that's not yours without the use of force or the threat of force. And that's your answer to this intro's question. If robbers are good at robbing, burglars are good at burglarizing. Not kidding. It's there. That's your gerund form or that's your ing form of the verb form of burglary. So, robbery, robber, robbing, burglary, burglar, burglarize, burglarizing, and if you're looking for the past tense, that's burglarized. Same as rob. So if you want to sound extra fancy, you can say, I've just been burglarized. Can't wait to see the expressions of their faces when you say that. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson Tito brought for you guys today. It was a lot of fun explaining these things to you. Please watch out for our next session because once we're done with fire insurance, Tito is going to dive deep into the rabbit hole and we're gonna start tackling bonds very, very soon. So with that being said, once again, this is your favorite Tito Miguel. If you're looking to buy, if you're looking to sell insurance, please hit me up. Leave me a message, leave me a comment, leave me an email. Also, if there are any topics that you'd like for me to cover, please leave me a message as well. And if you're looking to enjoy my other video discussions about motor car insurance, property insurance, and personal accident insurance, the links to my additional playlists are down in the description as well. So, once again, this is your favorite Tito Miguel, always saying, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.